And for our final film this week, boys, we're going to be discussing Weird, an Al Yankovic story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you say it again, but pronounce his name correctly?
Weird, an Al Yankovic story.
Still incorrect.
So Weird, an Al Yankovic story is the tale of Weird Al himself, boys. Weird Al. This is a film that's like a documentary sort of style, very similar to the Queen movie that came out like a few years ago, you know? So, this film follows the very real life of Weird Al. So, you know, it starts out, he's a young little boy. He just wants to play the fucking polka, okay? He wants to play his little accordion, do a little polka action, but his father's a real hard ass, okay? He don't like polka in his life. He's not a big fan of, like, any real music or nothing that's not, like, you know, church hymns or whatever, and he especially doesn't like the idea of changing the words at all. But Weird Al is all about that shit. He wants to change these words and make something that's entirely original, you know? Based off of someone else's work. So that's exactly what he does. He gets himself a nice little accordion. He starts playing some polka, and his dad hates it, so he gets kicked out. But Weird Al ain't just gonna sit there and let that get him down. He moves out to like some city that they don't really specify. It's probably somewhere in California, probably LA in fact. And from there he's able to find success, okay? After he creates his very first song, which was, I don't remember what it is. Oh, fucking My Baloney, that's what it is. My Bologna, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
And from there, he becomes a fucking rock star. He tops the charts. He's the biggest thing on the world. He's bigger than Jesus at that point. And from there, he meets Madonna, boys. He meets Madonna, and she's a fucking homewrecker. She's just a leech who's trying to get on his success. You know, he's just trying to get a little bit of Al Yankovic bump, if you catch my drift. And from there, he realized, oh, man, this girl, I fucking love her. I can't let her go, but everyone else around her, they see her for what she really is. They know that she's a fucking leech, but he doesn't listen, and so he starts doing hard drugs and shit, and he starts getting with her, and from there, she gets fucking kidnapped by, I was about to say ISIS, but that's not who it is. She gets kidnapped by the Cubans, okay?
Not
and he has
Cubans
to go
either, but
the Cubans, and so he has to go save her. He goes down there, he gets a gun, he blasts them all, but she ain't ready to leave yet, okay? She's got a big drug trade she can be running now. So that's exactly what she does, and she just leaves Weird Al out to dry. And so from there, he leaves, he reconnects with his father, they become best friends, he learns about his old Amish lifestyle, and he ends up getting a new song idea. Not for fat, why would it be for fat? He learns about the song. Amish Paradise, boys. Amish Paradise. And that just makes him the biggest thing ever in the world. He gets the Oscar for like a best original song that's made as a parody, and he gets assassinated live on stage. And that's the story of Weird Al, guys. What did you think of it?
For sure. I actually... Go ahead, Tanner.
I went into this thinking this was just an actual attempt at a biopic of Weird Al.
At what point did you realize that was not the case?
It's pretty immediate that you realize that's not the case.
Immediate?
Yeah.
It took me till, like, Madonna showed up to realize it.
So you think he went to an actual high school party where they were playing polka music, Dylan?
Listen, man, times were different back then. Who am I to judge?
Anyways, Dylan's...
Some of it was embellished.
I wanted to give this movie the benefit... I definitely had my doubts when that scene popped up, and I was like, well, no, these movies are typically exploring the person's background from an art
you think the part where his father had his hand torn off in the factory and he was talking about, well, another one got eaten today, you thought nothing? That didn't trip any
to be fair,
fantasy alarms?
At that part, I was just like, well, maybe they just incorporated some of Weird Al's humor in here. Surely that had to be the case. I was, like, really trying to convince myself up until the Madonna part, like, this was just his background with his humor.
Part even.
You felt like it was far-fetchedly dated Madonna, Weird Al, that sex symbol.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of did yourself a major disservice, because this is far more enjoyable as just this absurdist origin story than as, like, an actual attempt at a biopic.
In my own defense, by the time I got to the end of the movie, I was like, oh, you know what? You know what makes this movie even better? The fact that it was just one big parody at the end, so that really just goes along with this whole theme anyway. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah. I think this movie is like, I thought it was a great idea, because again, I'm like, he's still alive, what? But no, what they ended up doing where it's this like alternate reality where, you know, Weird Al is the biggest star ever, he's dating Madonna, he fucking... at first when he made Eat It and it was original, I'm like, oh, in this movie's universe, does Michael Jackson not exist? No. They make it so Michael Jackson parodies Eat It by making it not funny, which was just fucking hilarious.
Beat It. What is it about, eggs? No. It's about survival on the streets or something.
Or fighting or something.
That was
No, this movie like actually got me to like laugh out loud a couple of times. Especially the ending I thought was fucking hilarious. When the screen just goes black and it just says Weird Al Yankovic was assassinated in 1980, I just started dying of laughter. And then they start doing the screenshots of his life or whatever, and they just show him being fucking riddled with bullets. That was fucking great. Yeah, I was actually very impressed by how funny this movie was. I think it meandered a bit in the middle when they were doing like Madonna shit, and I didn't find that too engaging or whatever. But the opening and the ending, the first and last acts, I'd say, were just fucking hilarious in my opinion. I do kind of wish they had another song or two in there, but also that's kind of not the point of this movie. So I'm not sure.
I was definitely also surprised by just how few songs they actually had in here. And I gotta say, one thing that really shocked me. Guys, have you noticed that Jack Black just plays the same character in all of his films?
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think that's your guys' skewed, biased belief of Jack Black.
Give me evidence that he doesn't play the same character in every movie.
This
all
seems
the movies we've
nothing
seen,
like Nacho.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess I should ask, what do you mean by he plays the same character in all his movies?
When I see Jack Black acting, he's always just acting like Jack Black. That's just the way I see it. Even if they're they have the subtleties of their specific character and the different motivations, in the end they're still acting like Jack Black. And maybe that's just my bias on it, but every movie we've seen with him in it so far, he's just acting the exact same for me. Just with the specific subtleties to his character.
I think what it is that Jack Black, no matter what character he's playing, has a same approach at humor, and that's what gives a lot of his characters a samey feel. I don't think it's necessarily that all of his characters actually are the same.
I also just think that at this point, with all the movies we've seen Jack Black in, there's just been some essence of...
3?
I think there's Nacho Libre, we have... maybe...
Yeah,
I'll
Nacho Libre,
but...
Tenacious D, and this. There's probably more.
That actually might be it. I'm definitely thinking of all the movies that he's in.
Either way, he definitely acts exactly the same in all of them.
I just think it's the Jack Black energy, man. I think that's all it is.
Who is Nico? You're probably the only one who might have an answer to this question. Who is your favorite celebrity cameo? And also, you're not allowed to say Conan.
I'm not allowed to say Conan, dude. Golly, let's see here.
Would that have been your answer?
Probably. Let's go with... honestly, it was pretty silly just seeing Weird Al play just this studio exec. Until,
I actually didn't know that was him.
Until fucking other Weird Al that his songs are shit and that they'll never catch on.
Yeah, no,
that was pretty good.
I was watching, I was viewing the end credits, and I was about to skip forward to see if there was any after credit scenes. And then I saw Weird Al Yankovic, I saw his name flash across the screen. I was like, but that wasn't on the left side where the characters, is it the actor name on the left or the character name on the
Doesn't
left?
matter.
Whatever. It wasn't on the correct side, and I was like, was Weird Al in this movie? So I rewound it and saw, and it was the executive guy or whatever. I was like, I guess I don't know what Weird Al looks like, or he just looks super different.
Oh, I knew it immediately.
I didn't.
Weird Al has two phases to his career. He has what this part mostly covers, which is afro and mustache, and then his current phase, which is long hair and clean shaven.
That's probably the one I'd recognize, because that's the one I see most often.
Then I don't know why you didn't recognize him.
He had a wig on, it was the Bill guy or whatever. He had that bowl cut wig or whatever. I don't remember. Was he the guy at the desk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't tell you.
To be fair, Dylan, Jackson didn't really know that either. To be fair, also, Jackson didn't really know, Jackson doesn't really know much about pop culture whatsoever, so basically everything went over his head for this film.
Yeah, I was insanely fucking lost with basically everything they were doing. I missed probably 90% of the jokes in this movie.
Wasn't Jackson completely lost when we did the Weird Al song tier list?
Yeah.
And that has nothing to
Tragic.
do with what we just said, but
No.
Jackson, how bad is your ranking since you don't really know anything about Weird Al?
This is in the middle of Osmosis Jones and 12 Angry Men for me. It's not that.
Well,
It's not that bad.
Okay, let's
okay.
I'm actually kind of curious to hear your overall thoughts on it, given you aren't really a Weird Al fan.
Yeah, so like you, Tanner, I immediately sussed that this was not a normal documentary. And then the question became of like how much of this is embellished and how much of this is actually real. And I, as it kept going along, I was like, okay, this is probably all just fucking bullshit. And then at that point, I was like, okay, so this movie is basically just a comedy at this point. There's no value to the actual like documentary. The whole point of the story is that it's absurd and ridiculous. So it's literally just a comedy. And unfortunately, I missed a lot of the jokes because I just don't know enough about the pop culture. There's definitely some funny moments. I think the acting was all right for the most part. Cinematography was all right. Nothing really that standoutish for me. There were some funny moments. I don't know. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Something that I think really showed off how funny this movie was even for the jokes that were just very clearly advertised well in advance, I still laughed at. Like the fact that they had his mom being fat for like several minutes before they do the fat joke.
Yeah.
And I still laughed at it, so I was like, okay, they got me.
I did really
fat,
like that
I'm fat.
scene because like
You
I
know.
noticed that like, oh yeah, she's like really fat now. What's up with that? And they just don't address it for quite a while.
yeah.
Yeah, they let it hang there for a good second.
Yeah, they have you think about it a little bit, which I definitely really appreciated. Another thing I really appreciate about this film was that the action scenes in it, guys, they actually sold like really well in this film. Because, we watch other comedies, say like fucking Summer Boys, that's super wet or whatever the fuck. Wet Hot American Summer. In like that film, they don't sell the action like whatsoever. It very much so just feels like these are actors who are like just fucking slapping each other around a little bit. They don't want to hurt each other though, so they're not going too hard. They're just some actors. Whereas in this film, it very much so feels like these are actual characters who's like, that's fucking weird. I'm beating the shit out of a chef right now. Holy fuck. They sell it significantly better than other comedy films do, which I really appreciated a lot with it.
Yeah, they commit to the bit.
Exactly. They commit to it, and they commit hard. That's one thing I liked a lot. One thing I kind of wished, honestly, was that, like, they had, like, a lot of real goofy moments, but I almost kind of wish they, like, played it straight more often in this film. Because, I don't know, I feel like that would have just, like, made those moments hit a lot harder for me. Because, like, when they were like getting all serious, when he was like out in the middle of the Congo trying to rescue his babe, like I don't know, I just felt like significantly more invested, and like those funny moments just like felt like they came out of nowhere a lot more, and they just were much more impactful for me in those moments. I don't know, how do you guys feel about that?
I don't think I necessarily agree.
Are you
Bummer.
saying you wish that jungle
I wish
part
that it was
wasn't
more
as
serious more often, Dylan. I wish that they played it a little more straight more often, dude.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I understand what you were saying. I mean, I agree with a lot of what Jackson says. I probably didn't get a lot of the pop culture stuff. I think I probably got more than Jackson, but who's really to say? I definitely did chuckle a lot, but that's not really hard to do because I'm a very easy person to entertain.
Just look at his rankings to really verify that one.
Yeah, exactly. I will say I was legitimately annoyed with a couple of parts in this movie. Like sometimes the humor I just thought was annoying, or like the jokes they decided to go with. I don't know. I wouldn't say eye rolling moments because I don't think I physically rolled my eyes, but you kind of like get the idea. But like I said, I think one thing I can really appreciate about the movie is the fact that Weird Al is a parody artist, and like this movie is just a parody of his own life story. So I think that was a really nice like cinematic touch to the whole thing at the very end.
Does this film give you a newfound appreciation for Weird Al?
Why is that?
What do you mean? I'm
he's
just asking you,
did
dude.
Oh, that was a question. I
Yeah.
didn't hear that. It did not come through Discord the way it was intended. I mean, assuming he probably helped produce this movie, right?
Presumably so, yes.
He wrote it.
Yeah.
He's a writer and a producer.
I can't say I have a newfound respect for him. I would definitely say that this would be something I would expect from him, 100%. So I guess it fits within the vein of things he does, is the way I would say it. So yeah.
What was your guys' favorite song that was in the movie? Let's end it with this question, unless anyone else has any other thoughts.
Yeah, I don't really think I have too many other thoughts on this film. I'll say Amish Paradise.
I was gonna say Amish Paradise. Amish Paradise is always a banger for me.
It is. Amish Paradise is like far and above his most listened to song, like on YouTube and shit too. So
yeah,
I think that was actually the song that Nico introduced. Like when like he introduced Weird Al to me. I think that was the song he showed me. Either that or White and Nerdy. It was
yeah, I
one
was
of
gonna
the
say
two.
it's definitely one of those two.
So makes sense.
And with that, boys, for our ratings, Dylan, what are you going to be giving this bad boy?
Based on this may shock you. Based on where I ranked other movies, and the rating I gave it, it still sounds right to me, which is shocking, kind of, I think. But I'm gonna be giving Weird Al a B+.
A B+, hot damn. Tanner, how about you, dude?
honestly, I feel fine giving it an A.
Yeah? Yeah, looking over my ratings here. I'm thinking I'm gonna give it a B as well here.
Okay.
Yeah. B feels right. How about you, Jackson?
Yeah, I gave it a B-, so we're all about in the same range.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That puts it at a B+.
Let's go.
Nice.